Hi everyone. In May's subscription box, the three teas are Fu Shou Shan, Xin Gong Yi, and the Amber Wu Yi. Fu Shou Shan is an oolong from Taiwan. It's a high mountain oolong in Lishan. It's one of the highest peaks. Normally we would have an oolong as our second tea, but since this one is lightly oxidized compared to the other two, it's nice to be able to use this as the first tea you want to taste. Fu Shou Shan is actually a pretty tightly rolled leaf because it's so high in elevation. There are only 2 or 3 harvests per year. This one is the spring, which is the richest. Normally, we would always have the spring crop, and if the winter crop is very nice, we'll bring it in, but that's usually a little too light for our palate. This one is richer and creamier. So when you're brewing this tea, because the leaves are much thicker, it's nice to be able to use water that's a little bit hotter. And of course, you can brew it very hot, or you can brew it by steeping it in cold water to make an iced tea. Since the weather is changing a bit, it's nice to have both options. I brewed it fairly hot and I've steeped it a few minutes ago, so I'm going to taste it when it cools down. I find that I can pick up the mouthfeel a lot more, and you can pick up much more of the nuances. So when tasting these teas, it's nice to be able to chew it a bit in the front of your mouth. Then you swallow a little bit and then start to aerate. So what I taste is a richer flavor, and it's full of flowers. It's like gardenia. It's really thick and rich, but it's not grassy at all. And there's absolutely no astringency. So when you brew all of these tea the right way, or your preferred way, it's very interesting. It's a lot more tasty. For the one in the middle, this is a Xin Gong Yi, which is a new craft white tea. It's from Fuji, and it's commissioned specially for us by allowing the leaves to oxidize a little bit more. It's not quite as grassy and green as other whites, so it's also very forgiving. I brewed it with fairly hot water. You can treat this very much like an oolong in many ways. That's why the color is a little darker. Because of the higher oxidation, you get more of that concentrated fruit finish. It's like a very nice cobbler with its natural sweetness. Whenever you make these white teas, we always have to watch the water temperature to lean on the lower temperature for brewing the younger tips. But since this one is commissioned specially for us, it's very forgiving and very tasty. So the last tea is the Amber Wu Yi. Amber Wu Yi comes from Fujian as well. This is a charcoal roasted tea, so it's a little bit smoky. You get that toasted nuttiness. It's a nice tea to replace a whiskey if you are a fan of whiskey and scotch. So usually after a heavier meal, we would have a tea like this. Even though it's so smoky and intense in flavor, it's not bitter at all. It's very low in tannins, but very smooth. All of these teas actually keep pretty well, but because they're so good, you probably won't have enough in just this subscription box. So after you finish, be sure to order it quickly. Otherwise, these teas are ones that we usually run out very quickly. And even if you have a bigger stock of them, they do keep well, so you can age it as well. So if you like this video, please follow us on our YouTube channel. And then of course, read a little more about our teas on our website, redblossomtea.com.